What's up, guys? We're here for another video today, and we're going to do our first species profile today. So I figured, why not start off with the king of the channel, who's the mascot of the channel, really. But we're going to start off with Railynn and his girlfriend, Sheila, who, please don't eat the camera, you goof. It's not food. And Railynn, Sheila is not food. No. Bugger off. It's not food. Hey. Behave yourself. We're trying to do a video here. You're not helping. Anyway, so we're going to do our first species profile with the goobers that just jumped off her shelf. So, as I was saying, these are tegus, guys. These are specifically red tegus. Case in point, why I named the channel, partially why I named the channel Red-Headed Reptiles. But, these, like I said, these are red tegus. They are native to South America. They actually make very wonderful pets. Railynn, as you see, he's kind of like a puppy dog for me. He's a good boy. And then there's Sheila. Sheila is a psycho. She's kind of nuts. She thinks everything's food, and she tries to bite everything. Ha! Say, I'm a wild child. Yeah, she's a wild child. But anyway, guys, these guys make actually very amazing pets. Like I said, you know, Railynn has been with me now for 3 years. He's a very good boy. He behaves himself most days. Sheila, on the other hand, she can have her moments of being a feisty goof, because she thinks she's always got to get fed, and she always wants to bite your fingers. Hey, no. She always thinks that it's dinner time. Huh. Say, yeah, I always think it's food. They're still pretty good pets, though, guys. Oh, she's attacking the camera. Oh, look at her tripod. Well, you can't really see that she's tripoding because, hey, get away from my toes. If you gotta go that way, go that way. Anyway, let's talk to the one who's actually sitting still and not being a wild animal. As I was saying, guys, red tegus, South America. Tegus are native to all over South America. They actually inhabit basically almost the entirety of South America. You can find different subspecies and groupings everywhere. The red tegus, if I'm believing right, correct me if I'm wrong, they're usually Colombian reds. They're actually really simple to care for, as long as you provide them with a good enough habitat. He's shedding here. Oh, I know, it feels good, huh? Even though I have humidity going, still gonna do a little bit of sheddy shed, huh? You guys say hi to everyone? Huh? No. And don't worry, that's just some dirt on his face and his lip. I gotta clean it off later, but anyone who's thinking he has something wrong with him, no, it's just dirt. Because something that tegus like to do, and you'll have to learn if you ever decide to get a tegu, is they love to freaking dig. They are literally the bulldozers of South America. Hey, knock it off. Quit being a wild animal, or I'm gonna lock you in your house. You are not getting my toes. Get out of here. You want this? Huh? Yeah, there you go. Get that. Stay away from my feet. I don't know why she's obsessed with my feet all of a sudden, guys. But anyway, as I was saying, these guys are like bulldozers. They love to dig. As you can see, no matter how much dirt I put in or how much care I put into the cage, they destroy it and totally dig it out. Why are you climbing up my leg? You are making me nervous, Sheila. But, you know what they say. Don't work with animals if you're trying to do videos, because they never do what you want. And she is not doing what I want her to do, which is just to leave me alone. You are just a little crazy person, aren't you? You gotta go back in your house? Huh? You gotta go back in the house, or you gotta be nuts? You gotta lick the camera? Licky licky? Huh? Say licky licky? But no, these two are very pretty. As you can probably tell by the names, I have one male, who's Railynn, who's my big boy here. You can see the males get these big jowls. And as you can also see probably by the beginning of the video, they are incredibly much larger than the females. Big, beautiful lizards, though. And he is a pretty good boy. He's a good tame boy. Sheila, on the other hand, who's now gone, who ran off, is a female. And as you saw, she's much smaller than him. But with reptiles, and something you gotta learn, especially with lizards, the females can actually be a lot more aggressive than the males, and you gotta be careful, especially during breeding season, because the female can actually hurt the males if they get too annoyed with the male's approaches, and they just get too irritated with the male. They'll actually really hurt the male and mess them up, even though they're only like a quarter of the size of a male. But that's something you gotta watch out for if you ever decide to breed reptiles, and that's not just tegus, that's all reptiles. But another thing with the breeding and tegus are one of the only lizards, one of the few anyway, that actually mound build their eggs. The females will build a little mound and they'll lay their eggs in it and they'll defend it. So you gotta be careful when you are breeding tegus, especially because the females around egg time and all that stuff can get increasingly a lot more aggressive than they normally are. But but otherwise, most of the time, these animals, they're a lot like, honestly, puppy dogs, or I call them the scaly cats, because they have an attitude of a cat, where most of the time they don't care about pets, or they really don't care about you. But, dirt everywhere. But most of the time, they're actually pretty good animals. They are omnivores. They eat both meat and plants. In the wild, they actually eat more vegetation. You just like sunbathing, don't you, Railynn? You're not really doing much. Huh. But in the wild, they actually eat more vegetation and fruits and plant matter, but while in captivity, they eat a lot more protein. I try to balance their diet pretty well. Railynn gets a mix of veggies, fruits. His favorite food is chicken. Any type of chicken. Chicken parts, chicken meat, baby chicks, eggs. He loves chicken. But they'll also eat fish and crustaceans. They love, one of the things I raise, actually, and I'll actually do a video on for you guys, is I raise giant hissing cockroaches, and he'll eat those. He loves those. Absolutely is obsessed with those. He loves the giant roaches. But primarily when they're young, they need to be fed mainly an insect diet, and they'll eat a ton of insects. When they're first hatch and when they're only a couple months old, they'll eat crickets. Crickets are a good thing to feed them, but the other problem with tegus is they grow fast. They're like weeds. And you'll learn pretty quickly that they'll outgrow crickets really quickly. I think I was only feeding each of these guys crickets for about 4 months, and then they stopped eating them because they just got too big, and the crickets were so small that they gave no cares about the crickets. So you'll learn that pretty fast with these guys. They'll need to change up their diets pretty quick. Huh, Railynn? Yeah, I need to refill your humidifier, huh? You got a little dryness. Gonna get a bath later. But another thing, guys, you gotta know with tegus is you need space. Right now, they're in an 8-foot by 4-foot enclosure. 8 foot long by 4 foot wide. I know it looks pretty dinky right now, but they are going to be getting a huge room here soon, all to themselves in the reptile house that's under construction, like I told you guys. They're going to get an 8-foot wide by 10-foot long house room that is literally all to themselves. Him and Sheila are going to get it. They're going to have a pond, trees, like 2 or 3 foot of dirt to just play in as they please. We'll see if we can grow some plants in there for them because, like I said, these guys are bulldozers. And they are a nightmare to try to grow live plants in with, which is something I'll get into in a minute. But no, these guys are going to get this huge setup. They're going to get a beautiful house just for themselves to frolic in and live in. But that's something you guys got to know if you're ever going to commit to a tegu. I let these guys free roam the house quite often, so they aren't always just cooped up in their box. But something you got to learn with tegus is that they get large. Railynn is about 4.5, almost 5 foot, somewhere in there. I know it's hard to tell because he's curled up like a little ball. But here, I'll try to give you guys a good aerial view of him. But they will top out around 5 foot, and males especially can grow up to almost 25 pounds. So they get very large, and they get very needy, as they call it, because they're such lovable lizards. I mean, look at him. You gotta love this guy. This is why he's the mascot of the channel. He's such a lovable bug. But yeah, they get very large, guys. So you gotta make sure you have the space for these guys. They're highly intelligent. Believe it or not, reptiles aren't as stupid as people think they are. They're actually very smart. These guys really enjoy some enrichment. So every now and again, I'll give them some, honestly, dog toys like conch balls, and I'll hide like a treat in the conch ball, and they roll it around, and he'll take it out. I got a video of him years ago doing that. But yeah, so give them some enrichment, guys. If you guys get tegus, give them enrichment. Make sure you interact with them. Um, give them stuff to do. I mean, most days, honestly, the funny part is most days he just chills like this, and that's what he likes to do. But then occasionally he'll get in a mood where he's like, okay, I want to do something. And he'll wander around, and he'll love on things. And he'll get into stuff. Because he's a goof, huh, Railynn? But he's my goof. He's such a big boy. But anyway, guys, tegus, like I said, get large, give them enrichment. Make sure they have a big space if you're going to end up keeping them. As far as dieting goes, right now he gets fed mostly only once a week, sometimes twice a week, and the second time is usually just a very light feeding. The once a week, usually I give him quite a few veggies, fruits, and like I try to incorporate one prey item, either like some chicken, some fish. Occasionally, not very often, once in a blue moon, he gets a mouse or a whole chick. He doesn't get much of that way. Maybe I'll do a video one of these days where I give him a whole chick for you guys to see what I'm talking about. But he loves those. But I only feed him once a week. Sheila gets fed 2 times a week because she's still young. And also I'm thinking that she's getting ready to breed. So I'm going to work on putting a little bit of weight on her because, like I said, I think she's getting ready to breed. It's getting into that time of year. And she's been kind of very active as far as digging. So I'm thinking she's kind of getting ready for the romance season. Huh, Railynn? You're just a studling, huh? Are you a stud for Sheila? Say, yeah, I'm a stud. I'm Sheila Stud, huh? Sheila Stud. I wonder if you guys can actually see his teeth right now. Because I can see them. Speaking of his teeth, tegus are very unique in the animal kingdom as far as especially reptiles, as in they have multiple different types of teeth, a lot like a human. As you could probably see up here, he has, I'm not going to do that, you were going to bite me. At the front of his mouth, if you guys saw him just a few seconds ago, those are like canines. But unlike humans, dogs, and all that, who have only one set of canines on each side, these guys can have up to 2 or more. Railynn has 2 on each side, top and bottom. They also have, believe it or not, these guys have molars. Back here in his mouth, he actually has molars that they use to crush up like shells, fruits. Oh, look at that belly on this guy. But yeah, they have molars too. They use to crush plant matter and everything. Now, I will tell you guys, if you have tegus and they aren't eating much in the way of vegetables and fruits, I don't want people to yell at me, but it's not a huge deal. Try to get them to eat it. Offer it them every single time. See if you can get them to eat it. But like Railynn is the biggest pain in the butt to get him to eat any vegetables. Sheila is a pig. She'll eat everything. But Railynn, literally, he's very picky, actually, believe it or not. This big boy is very picky what he eats. He doesn't like to eat his veggies. He'll eat fruits, but he does not like his veggies, which is very funny. But yeah, guys, so don't fret and don't freak out. Look around the internet, reliable sources. Don't take everyone's word because, as I've discovered on the internet, a lot of people just like to spout their garbage, and they don't actually make any sense. But try to find some reputable sources. Excuse me. But try to find some reputable sources about dieting and everything. Like I said, this guy, I can get him to eat fruits, occasionally vegetables. A trick that I have learned is you take like greens and you mix it with shredded chicken or tuna and mix it into like a ball. He'll eat it that way. I have a recipe I'll go into maybe in another video I call Tegu meatballs. And I mix a lot of the veggies in there. He'll actually eat that because it's disguised by ground turkey. But anyway, guys, yeah. So don't fret. Ugh, dust. Because they still eat, still get healthy, and like I said, these guys are like bulldogs. Really, they get big. And no, he's not overweight. I mean, he's a little chunky, but I have discussed with a vet about him just to make sure, and she said it's just like I told you guys. Tegu body shape, man. Tegus are just heavy, chunky lizards. It's just how they are. Huh, buddy? It's just how they are, and it's how they have evolved. They just have a very heavy body. Here, let me help you. There you go. Oh, yeah. They're just a very big-bodied lizard. But yeah, guys, if you guys ever are interested in getting into maybe owning a tegu, biggest thing I can recommend is do your research, because a lot of people don't do the research. The biggest thing with these guys is around the age, or around 18 inches to 20 inches long. Tegus go into what is called the grubbity stage. It's basically reptile puberty, and they get highly aggressive. Like, he got so aggressive during that stage. He was biting me, clawing me. I couldn't pet him. I couldn't pick him up. Push through it, guys. Push through it. It only lasts a month or two, maybe a little bit more, but it's not long. Do not get frustrated. I mean, you will get frustrated, but don't get mad at them. It's basically like a teenager going through puberty. It's not entirely their fault. It's actually the number one reason why tegus are actually given up for adoption, is because people don't have patience and they don't wait through that gravity stage. So these poor lizards get in that stage, and all of a sudden they are kicked out of their home because people don't have patience. Once you get through that stage, guys, and they get past that gravity stage, they become like this. I mean, if you continue through that stage and you work through it, and you just give them attention and make sure that not give up on them, you get a lizard like Railynn, who loves pets. He's very kind. I can take him out to the stores and stuff, and he lets little kids pet him and people pet him, and he never tries to bite anyone. The only person he tries to bite is me, and that's only when he's excited for food, because he loves food. Oh, big guy. But he's a very good lizard, guys. I really do recommend. If you have the space and the know-how for a tegu, I know they are controversial right now in Florida because they are an invasive species in Florida, which is sad because mostly it's humans' fault. But honestly, there's a lot of bad publicity on them because of Florida, and I will tell you right now, a lot of that is garbage. They are some of the most amazing lizards you can get. They are very, very social. They're very interactive. I mean, most days he just lays here like a lump, but when I get to interact with him, he is a very friendly animal. He's a very smart animal. They are actually very intelligent, guys. So if you get a chance to ever own a tegu, I actually recommend it. If you have space and you know what you're doing, I recommend a tegu, because they do need space and they need some attention. They need love. So please, don't judge them because of Florida. Because of what's going on in Florida, do not judge a tegu because of that. They are actually very amazing lizards. And they are so lovable. Or just look at that face. You know you gotta love that face. You gotta love it. Anyway, guys, I've probably taken up enough of your time talking about tegus today. And like I said, if you have any more questions, feel free to put them in the comments. Feel free. Put them in the comments. Let me know if you have any questions regarding tegus, because I know I went over a lot of information and probably not enough information. I went over dieting, housing. These guys do need a little quick thing. These guys do need humidity, and as always, if you are keeping them indoors, make sure you have a UVB bulb like I do up there. When he gets his new house, he's also getting a 10-foot by 11-foot outdoor pen for the summers. So he's got to get to spend all summer out in the natural sunlight, which is the best thing to do for reptiles. I know up more north it's not very recommended because it snows. I used to live up in Wyoming, so yes, I understand greatly the winters up north. But here in Missouri, we do get really nice spring, summers, and falls. So he's probably going to be able to stay outside for at least half the year, which is good for him. But make sure you have the proper lights. Sheila's coming back. Don't get my toes. Anyway, seriously though, guys, do your research on all animals you get. Not just if you want a tegu or an iguana or even a bearded dragon. Do some research, guys. Don't just go to the store and be like, I want this, buy it, and then not know what you're getting into. Because like I said, these guys, a lot of people don't realize, because they get them at the stores only like 5 inches long or so, and they're only like, these cute little tiny things, and people are like, oh my god, they're so cute. And then within 6 months, they turn into a 3-foot long monster that wants to bite. So yeah, do your research, man. Don't get an animal that you don't know about, and then don't provide for it, or worse yet, abandon it, or God forbid, throw it in the woods. Do not ever release an animal in the wild, guys. Seriously, don't. That's a big no-no. Don't. A captive animal does not belong outside, unless it's in an enclosed pen, secured, but it's never meant to be in the wild here if it's not from here. It's not meant to be that way. So don't do it. I've heard a lot of people say that they want to just throw their animals in the woods to let them go. No, don't do that. That's bad. It's very bad. Gets us in trouble. Makes the hobby look very, very unprofessional. It makes it look bad. And it's bad for us because then, in the future, we may not be able to keep these animals. I mean, look at Florida. You're not allowed to keep these guys in Florida no more. If you don't have a very special permit. And even then, though, now they're trying to get rid of it completely. Which is a shame because these guys are such amazing animals, guys. They are very amazing. I love Railynn. He was my first big lizard. I mean, he was the first one I've ever had that got this big. So yeah, please do your research. Enjoy your reptiles. Enjoy them. Always be responsible. And thank you for joining me on my first species profile, as I'm going to start calling them Tegu Talk, because since we're doing the first one talking about tegus, might as well call the rest of them Tegu Talk. So make sure to join me in the future. As always, have a great day, guys, and have a great week. Happy New Year's, and since it's already passed, Merry Christmas, or whatever holiday you celebrate. I wish you happy holidays. But thank you for joining me on Tegu Talk, and you guys have a wonderful day. See you later.